Hello and welcome back to another chapter of the tutorial by Dragons Are Cool on AO3. Chapter 7, Paperwork. Impulse was, as usual, the first to make it to the lobby the next morning, even though he'd let himself have a slow morning, anticipating their new recruits not showing up for a while. Skiz showed up not much later, laptop in tow, so he could work on his day job while they waited for the other two. His more recent arrangements with his job allowed him to work remote, had made getting together for writing the reports and scheduling haunts much easier. Aside from their good mornings, the pair sat in comfortable silence. Impulse returned to his reading, a recently published paper on the speeds of ghosts and whether or not it was a viable metric to use in differentiating certain ghost types. He had a reputation as the team nerd to keep up after all. Scar rolled in about an hour later, yawning but otherwise looking alright. "Morning, boys," he greeted cheerfully. "Are we just waiting on Green then?" "Looks like it." Impulse checked his watch. 10:30. "We'll give him another hour or so. He was really out of it last night." Scar snickered, falling asleep in his french fries. Skiz laughed then too, finally breaking his concentration on his work. "You really liked that one, huh?" Scar by that point was laughing too hard to respond. Once the Vax freak collected himself, Skiz had returned to his work. Impulse took to showing Scar through his journal and all the notes he took in it. The ghost investigation journals, as they came off the shelf, were pretty bare bones, only giving the most certain bits of information about each ghost type. The very nature of ghosts made them difficult to study at best, so what was known about them at any given point was prone to change. A more detailed and updated version of the journals was available online to compare notes with, but most investigators chose to keep a paper copy, just make notes for themselves of the additional information they found most helpful about each ghost. Impulse and Skiz were no different in that regard, though gods help them if they ever accidentally grabbed each other's journals. Neither could make heads or tails of the other's notes. But that wasn't unusual for most other investigators, either, as far as I knew. Like the night before, Scar had no shortage of questions, including some repeated ones, but it was a lot of information to take in all at once. Impulse carefully and patiently answered everything he could. "It's almost noon, Dop," Skiz interrupted them after a while. "Should we go check on him?" Impulse glanced at his watch too and nodded. "Probably. I'll go." "Oh hey, speak of the devil!" Green came ambling out into the lobby, wings nearly dragging on the ground. He was still dressed in what he had been wearing the night before. "You alright, Green?" Impulse got up to help him over to a chair. The wince as he took Green's arm didn't escape his notice. "I feel sore," he admitted, though that much looked rather obvious to the rest of them. Impulse helped slowly lower him into a chair. He moved stiffly, barely getting his wings out of the way enough to sit, and some of his tail feathers bent a bit awkwardly at his side. "Think you're getting sick? We could go get dressed." "No," he waved off the angel's worry. "I'll be fine." The angel pinched his lips tightly, but didn't push the subject. "Did you at least sleep well?" Scar jumped in, his face not free of worry either. "Like a rock. At least, until this morning." Green rubbed at his eyes. "Well, that's something. I'll get you some tea and we can write this report. Then you can rest some more." Skiz closed out of his work stuff while they waited and got the GIN database page pulled up. He was showing them through the main pages when Impulse returned with the tea. Green gratefully accepted the cup, and they all crowded in around Skiz's laptop. Skiz and Impulse carefully walked them through each section and what sorts of things were usually included. It covered some of the basics as the civilian report, evidence, and ghost type, but included extra space for detailed explanations of how the evidence was gathered. Basically, the more information you can provide, the better, Impulse supplied. There are groups that filter through all the data that comes out of these reports and use that to learn more about the ghosts. And the more we know, the safer we can try and be. And, more short term, the more information we can give the hunting team, the better for them, Skiz added. The tentative new team then spent the next hour or so pouring details into the report, including everything from the light switch interactions to the hunt attempt when Impulse had gone back and turned the lights on. Tacked on to the end was a list of their abandoned equipment. You even include how long it took to get it to write? Impulse puzzled as he was reading it over one more time before they uploaded it. Yeah, there is a theory that some ghosts will hide some evidence traits altogether, but we can't rule out some traits just take longer to reveal themselves than others. So, it's important data to include while the community tries to figure it out. Ah. Green returned for another sip of his tea. Impulse had quickly and quietly refilled it not long ago. Impulse was glad to see it seemed to be helping at least a bit. Alrighty, if you two don't have any more questions, we can submit this now and I'll show you how we pass it on to the hunting teams. When no questions were voiced, Impulse motioned for Skiz to continue. He submitted the report and showed them the Hunter portal page. It had a few different options for listing the haunt. Most of the time, we just drop the report here, he pointed out the first option. It lists the haunt as ready for fixing and notifies all the hunting teams in the immediate area. In this case, though, we are going to go with this option, where we can ping a specific team first. We'll send this one to Tango and Joker. This option was usually used for just what they were doing. If there was a haunt the investigators knew a specific hunting team would take an interest in for whatever reason, they could go to them specifically. It was also useful for if a haunt may require a team with specific specialties. What's the third option? That one, Scarface, is for the really dangerous ones. We've never had to use it before, but if we were to come across a really aggressive or dangerous ghost, we'd list it there. Then it would notify only the highest ranking teams across a much larger area, so we're guaranteed someone with the right know-how can take care of it. We have actually investigated one ghost that ended up getting posted in that category, but we didn't get to finish that investigation. Impulse hedged. I filed a complaint to the GIN. I've been told they looked into it and adjusted some filters and skill criteria to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Skiz stared sternly at the screen as he spoke. Scar, taking note of the souring mood, hesitantly spoke. Is it a bad idea to ask what happened? Skiz cast a worried glance at Impulse to be sure he wasn't checking out, only for him to speak. We almost didn't make it out alive. Skiz huffed at the explanation. We'll leave it at that. Skiz cut off the topic before it could wander any further. It hadn't been that long ago that they even gone back to ghost work after that haunt. And Skiz knew they both wished they could just leave that one behind them. Scar nodded and didn't speak, just taking in the information. Hey guys! Tango's cheery tone lifted some of the fog of the previous conversation. So, how did it go last night? It went really well, actually, Skiz grinned, gratefully taking the interruption. If you can believe it, Dob actually behaved himself. Hey! Impulse revolted to the tune of Tango's laughter. Oh, good one, Skiz. He trailed out through his laughter. No way that actually happened, though. Impulse devolved into petulant grumbling, where he sat between Green and Scar before he finally piped up again. Look, I had to show them the safe way to do it. Then they can decide for themselves which rules they want to throw out. Within reason, Skiz warned. What did you think of it? Kinda terrifying, right? It was very exciting. Scar jumped in, and Green nodded along. Tango couldn't hack it as an investigator. Impulse mischievously elbowed Green. Too much of a chicken. I am not a chicken. I just like to know what I'm walking into. Hunting was certainly the better fit for that when the investigators were the ones taking all the guesswork out of it. You guys are the weirdos for actually doing it. Well, someone's got to, Skiz pushed back. Impulse rolled his eyes. Well, Hunter, we just sent you and Joker the report for Jimmy's house. Might want to claim it before it goes out to the area teams. Oh, I'd better go meet with Joker then and see if he can go tonight. I know Tim's been stressing a bit about having everything ready by the time his lease is up. Tango pulled out his phone to text his hunting partner. I'm glad it sounds like it went well, guys. See you later. See you around. Tango left again as quickly as he came, already typing away on his phone. Well, Impulse clapped his hands together. That's our side of things done. How you feeling, G? He shrugged, already seeming less stiff than he had when he came downstairs. A bit better. I'm still tired. Want some help back upstairs? Impulse offered. You should probably change it to some fresh clothes at the very least. Ugh, yeah. Green lifted his arms a little and looked down at his sweater. Aside from some dust, it wasn't really too dirty. But he had been wearing it long enough by now. I need a shower, and then a nap, he yawned. Alright, let's go then. Impulse pulled Green effortlessly up from his chair and started guiding him back towards the apartments. He was glad to see his wings weren't dragging as much this time. So, Scar. Skiz turned his attention back to his friend as the other two left. Want us to let you know when we get our next investigation? He little doubt Impulse would be asking Green the same. Scar pondered only a moment before he started nodding. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Great. So glad we haven't scared you off yet. It was fun having some fresh faces around. Skiz picked up his laptop then. On that note, though, I should probably get back to work. Of course. I should probably do the same. Amusement parks don't design themselves, you know. Scar said as he unlocked his brakes and waved a goodbye to Skiz before they too parted ways. Skiz retreated to the library with a skip in his step, excited for the next investigation with the new team, now that he knew it was only a matter of time. And that is the end of Chapter 7.